Hey guys, my name is Ashley Capek Disorda. Here's my final exam. I am going over what your options are with your remains once you pass. Traditional burials are expensive. They require a little bit more done to the body than a cremation does, whereas you would have embalming fluid in your body so that way your body stays preserved for a wake. A wake is when family and friends come to share their sympathy and condolences with your family, and then you are typically buried. A few things to know about cremation. You need a temporary coffin for cremations, and they release around 1.74 billion pounds in carbon dioxide a year. That's just in the United States. Here on the left, you'll see an urn that is used for remains, for cremation, all jewelry and mechanical devices, including pacemakers, are removed before cremation. The chambers are preheated between 1400 and 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. Most bodies only take 1.5 to 3 hours to be fully cremated. After cremation, a magnet is used to separate metal objects from cremains. A human body usually creates 3 to 7 pounds of cremains. Cremains can be put in urns or used as jewelry. And some people even tattoo ashes into their skin, which is pretty neat and kind of weird. So, if you're anything like me, the idea of being buried and the idea of being cremated just doesn't sound eco-friendly. And it doesn't sound very peaceful either to have all of your blood removed for harsh chemicals to be replaced so that way your body stays preserved. There are other options. You ready? There's aquamation, which is a water cremation. There's mushroom coffins. There's body farms, which we'll get into that. You can compost yourself, commit your body to the sea, and you can even be buried at home now. Aquamation is also known as alkaline hydrolysis or water cremation. Aquamation is basically the process of breaking down the body's tissues with the help of water and heat and alkaline chemicals. Aquacremation is more expensive than a typical cremation by around $1,000 to $2,000 more. Cremations are shorter than aquamation. Cremations only take about 2 hours, whereas aquamation takes anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, and sometimes even 18 to 20 hours. Aquamation is a fairly new method of cremation, whereas it was only introduced in 2011. However, it is the new green cremation. Mushroom coffins are a little different, but kind of cool. So once the body is resting in the ground in a mushroom burial, the mushroom spores and other microorganisms begin to break down the body and turn it into enzymes, which can be used to help the soil. So you can be fertilizer and help your garden grow and live and be beautiful. Kind of cool. A green burial is for the people that do not want to have embalming fluid in their body. It is for those who want to have a positive impact on the earth. It is for those who want to decompose naturally, yet they do want to be buried. A green burial is also only dug down about 3.5 feet instead of a typical burial, which is 6 feet. Speaking of being green, how about human composting? Human composting is a practice that breaks down human remains into fertile soil. What they do is cover you in wood chips, hay, and other organic materials, and after a few months, I believe, it will naturally break down your body and then you can be used as soil. Body farms, in my opinion, are a little bit interesting. It began with a single donated body, and today it has more than 150 human donors placed in various scenarios around the grounds. What that looks like is clothes versus non clothes, a mattress over the body versus not a mattress, maybe to see how the insects help eat the body versus birds or whatever the case may be. It is all used for science purposes. Getting buried at sea. Um, that looks a little different because if you die at sea, typically there's no autopsy, there is no embalming fluid, and there might not even be availability for a casket. Um, what that would look like would then be wrapping the body in a fiber like shroud and then adding additional weight such as like chains, steel, that way you can sink rapidly. And if you are buried with a casket, then I believe it should just sink because of all the steel and metal in it. In the state of Vermont, most of the slides that I have showed you, minus the body farm and maybe being buried at sea, is legal in the state of Vermont. Pretty cool.